Anya Sims here, taking a closer look at the Toastmasters Club calendar. The Toastmasters year starts from the 1st of July and goes to the 30th of June of the following year. And when you take a look at what happens in a Toastmasters year, one can get quite shocked. How much can you pack into 1 year? So that's where we have to take a step back and really quite carefully divvy out what these different activities are, how they can be grouped, who can be made responsible, so that we really manage our way well through the entire Toastmasters year. Because the events on the Toastmasters year calendar, of course, happen on top of the day-to-day tasks of setting up club meetings, supporting our club members. So what are these events that I'm speaking about? The initial phase for a new committee, of course, all revolves around coming up to speed. So ideally, the new committee would have been elected at the first meeting in May. That gives them several weeks until the end of June to really get up to speed, to hopefully receive a solid handover from the outgoing committee that finishes on the 30th of June. Also, the area director, the person who looks after your club, plus 3 to 5 other clubs, will deliver club officer training. And they might be doing that either as early as June, if all the committees are already in place, or we'll do that in July or latest August, because all club officers need to have been trained by the end of August. So you'll be receiving some training. Also, these club officer training events are a fantastic opportunity to network with club leaders from other clubs, to exchange ideas and thoughts on how they're dealing with challenges or what their plans are. So where really various club committees can get together, not just to be taught by someone on stage, but also to learn with each other and from each other and get to know each other, so that they can then support each other during those upcoming events, such as, for instance, club contests. The committee needs to come up to speed. They need to receive a handover and training. In parallel to that, or just after, of course, what the new committee needs to do is put a plan in place on how they plan to become successful in the upcoming Toastmasters year. So the development of the club success plan is really important here, and for the committee to start thinking about how they want to set their own metrics for success, how they want to pursue things like growth of the membership base, the number of educational awards that individual members will hopefully be achieving throughout the Toastmasters year. Also, how they will ensure that good quality meetings are being held, and furthermore, the team will hopefully be looking after their own education and make sure that they upskill all the way through the Toastmasters year. At the beginning, when the new club committee establishes itself, a few things have to be discussed amongst the committee members. The committee members need to understand how they will make decisions. Toastmasters documentation offers some guidance on that, and I would like to invite everyone to really take a close look at that. I think what really matters here is that everyone should be really clear in terms of their expectations of how decisions are made and how each individual fits into the club committee team, just so that no one is disappointed halfway through because they thought they were signing up for a set of responsibilities that they were even looking forward to, and then someone else feels it's in their remit and the first person is disappointed. Or the other way around, that they're not realizing what is expected of them, and then when there are discussions on how decisions are being made, they suddenly feel in the limelight and called upon to make certain decisions that perhaps they weren't quite ready to make. So these things do need to be discussed right at the beginning. And as part of those discussions, which of course should be captured to a certain degree, the outcome should be captured to a certain degree in the club success plan, the committee also wants to get really clear on how often they want to meet, and what the purpose is of each committee meeting. A monthly frequency can work very well for committees. And for those committee meetings, of course, the committee always wants to look back at the previous meeting, see what was discussed, look at the key decisions, the progress that has been made, but also look ahead. Look at a club calendar that can help them understand what's on the horizon, say for the next 3 months, so that they have a short-term planning horizon of just for the next month, but also looking ahead for the next 3 months. Because if you're looking ahead, then all these events that happen in a Toastmasters year are definitely suddenly not overwhelming anymore, because as long as the load is spread amongst various committee members, but also amongst various club members, by putting subcommittees in place, for instance, it's less intense for individuals simply by spreading the load. And I think I can't recommend doing that quite enough. One of the key dates in the Toastmasters club calendar is the membership renewal date. And I'm talking about the singular here because we're just going to look at the first 6 months of the Toastmasters year. And we want to straight away, from starting at the beginning of the Toastmasters year on the 1st of July, we want to keep an eye on that renewal date, the deadline for renewals, which is the 30th of September. So when I'm looking here at my club and my committee at the beginning of the Toastmasters year, I'm 3 months away from that renewal deadline. And I want to establish straight away how happy the club members are, how likely the club members are to actually renew and to actually stay with us as a club. I don't want to get surprised on the 30th of September and find out that so and so many people didn't want to renew. So I really want to do something like a survey or some sort of kind of inquiry amongst the club members to find out how happy everyone is, what they need from the club, what they expect, what they might perhaps not be so happy about, and really start working with those members to ensure that they are as engaged as they can be, with their own kind of life circumstances, of course, being often a limiting factor, but that they're as engaged as they can be and are progressing as well as they can be, to really have them stay on board and renew at that first renewal period. Once you're over that hurdle, you can then start looking ahead at that next renewal period 6 months later. But let's get over that first hurdle first as a club committee. Another key date on the calendar for every club committee is the visit of the area director. The area director is really there to support the club leaders and also to guide them a little bit through that club calendar, through the year, through the Toastmasters year, by highlighting certain events to them, by doing things like providing them as early as possible with a date for club officer training and for the area contest, for instance, so that committee members can really plan for those events. The area director visits the club at least twice a year. Those 2 visits by the area director are fairly formal events. The area director will come along with a form, the area director's report, and they will aim to fill in their report as part of their visit. And they will need some extra time with the president, certainly, and with the vice president of education, perhaps even the vice president of membership, after the meeting to run through their report and perhaps ask those club leaders some additional questions. The Vice President of Education particularly will want to come prepared to that conversation with information on which members, how many members have achieved educational awards so far, up to the point in time of the area director's visit, and what the forecast is what the goals are in terms of educational awards. And it can actually be a really useful exercise for Vice Presidents of Education to prepare for the area director's visit if they were too busy with other things, for instance, and haven't really had a chance to map it out how ready individual club members will be for achieving the next level of pathways. This can give them a good prompt to actually prepare for this conversation and then share the information with the area director. The area director's report, by the way, can be found online. You can simply do a Google search for the actual form. The area director will fill this in online. We'll probably send out to the committee a version that they've captured, and will then submit the area director's report on the Toastmasters international system, which then automatically gets stored and sent to the president of the club, as well as to the district leadership team, which would be the district leaders themselves, as well as the area director and the division director.